everybody, welcome to the channel. This, oh jeez, it's a very heavy piece of cherry. I found this, it had been fly tipped on a lane very near to my house. Fly tipping, if it's not a phrase that you're used to, is the disposal of waste material in an illegal manner. Basically, it was just dumped on the road. There was this and two of the large pieces, which I managed to scavenge from it before the council came and took the whole mess away. But after driving past it, I couldn't really kind of leave it there. It was, it kind of cried out to me. I know it's cherry. You can tell it's cherry by the bark. It's very easy to identify. Now, this is quite a huge piece. I have no idea how much it weighs, but it is heavy. And I think we can get quite a few interesting pieces out of it. What I don't know is when it was cut down. I'm thinking it's fairly fresh. There's a couple of cracks starting to appear on the top bit here. So I think it has been cut down quite recently, which means that we are dealing with wet wood. Now, I know we did a wet wood video a couple of weeks ago, and we're doing an experiment with that. But this time we're going to do another quick test on a method where we can dry things incredibly quickly and turn them to a finished state within a short period of time. So I'm going to get my chainsaw out and start chopping this up. Now, one bit I'm interested in is, oh, hang on, this kind of area here. We've got two branches coming out, which mean that the wood in this area could be quite figured. It could be quite nice to turn. Now, we are going to be dealing with a couple of piths, so that could be problematic when we're drying it quick, but nothing ventured, as they say. So I'm going to go and grab my chainsaw, start chopping this up and see how many pieces I can get out of it. Come on. Okay, we've got this guy all cut up. This is that end cap, which we're going to be doing something with today. So I'll just put that there for a second. This is the trunk of the elephant, and I'm going to be sealing this both ends and letting that dry until I decide what to do with it. I could split it in half and make a few nice little bowls. I could do a large wing bowl, but we'll wait and see what we think about that one at a later date. Right, I was going to cut this big one up into smaller pieces, but when I split it down the middle, we have some beautiful figure in here, a kind of classic figure that you get from crotch pieces. So I'm not going to touch these two now, purely because I'm thinking they would make beautiful kind of matched bowls at some point later, at a later date. Plus I would need an awful lot larger faceplate to be able to hold these on my lathe, because it would have to be turned outboard because the corner to corner is bigger than 18 inches, which I can handle on this lathe. So these two are going to get sealed and tripped to a nice dry location while they dry out. And in a few years' time, we'll do something very, very special with them. Unless I get a faceplate before then, and then I'll part turn them. Right. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. We're going to go in with a worm screw, I think. It's a flat enough top to get that sorted. I think we've got, it's quite thin round here, so I reckon centre of mass is going to be about this area here. So we'll get this mounted and get it part turned ready for our rapid drying process. Okay, there are a lot of unknowns in this piece, so tailstock at the start. We will sharpen up and we shall get this part turned. That's certainly interesting. I'm definitely liking this. I wonder how my drying process would work if I left some of this bark on. That's one way of finding out, isn't there? Right, I'm going to continue shaping this, and then I'll be making a tenon and a foot for this bowl. Right, I'm going to take the tailstock away, finish off this tenon, and then we shall turn around and hollow it out. Remember, we're only going to part turn this, so we're not turning it all the way to a finished bowl. Not yet. Okay, let's get this turned around. Alright, let's take a look at this. We're trying to get the whole bowl about 1 inch thick overall. Oops. So we've got a bit further to go on the bottom. That side width is fine, but we do need to go a bit deeper. Okay, that should do it. Right, I'm going to set up for drying, and I'll bring you back in a second. Okay, we're all ready. We've got our super drying equipment, we've got some scales, we've got our bowl, and we've got a pen and paper. We're going to start off by measuring the weight. Which is 1,218 grams. We're going to place it in the microwave and we're going to dry it at full power for about 60 seconds. Then we're going to take it out, let it cool, weigh it, and then try it again. The cooling down part is absolutely crucial. I've done this once before, and is exactly why we're doing this in the workshop and not in my kitchen. Unfortunately, I managed to set fire to a small piece of oak I was trying to dry, and my wife was not particularly happy. So anyway, we're out here, we've got everything set up, we shall start. We'll let it cool, and then we'll measure the weight again. Okay, right. One, 2, 1, 7. We've lost a gram. We're going for a minute and a half this time. Smoking that time. Right, we'll let that cool down and then we will measure it again. Okay, still has some residual heat, but the smoking has calmed down on it. So I'll just give this another weigh. 1, 2, 1, 2. So overall we've lost 6 grams so far. Now as you can see, this is going to take a little while, but it's not going to take 6 months. So I'm going to keep on recording the weight, keep on putting it in the microwave, and I'll bring you back when we get down to a decent weight. Okay, the results are in. We've put the bowl in the microwave 24 times and we've lost about a quarter of its weight. We've gone down from 12-18 grams down to 9-20. So that's not too bad. I could probably gone a little bit further, but we've got cracking starting to appear in the pith areas of the wood, so I don't want to go too far and make it structurally unsound. Those cracks aren't quite going all the way through, so we may be okay, but I may have to stabilize them, and we'll figure that out when we have to. Now normally at this stage I'll put it back on to the lathe with a jam chuck and just return this tenon, and then turn it around and finish it all both sides in one go. But there is another method which I've seen a couple of my friends use, where you initially use the existing tenon we've got and turn a recess on this side, and then use that to hold it nice and firmly to finish the outside before we turn it around. So I think I'm going to give that a try. There we are, nice and secure. We can turn the outside like we would do normally. Okay, just a few light cuts there just to get it round and see what the surface is like underneath. It's not bad at all. I'm really quite over the moon with that. These cracks could give us a small problem, so I'm just going to quickly take it off the lathe now, treat it with a bit of CA glue, and then put it back on. Finish off the tenon, finish up the base, and do a bit of sanding, I think. Right, I'm using a black CA glue. This is from O3A adhesives. I'm just going to let it seep into the holes. Okay, I'm going to give that a few minutes just to settle into the holes, and then I'll spray it with an accelerant. Okay, looks all right. Give it a bit of a spray. And I'll get it back on the lathe. Okay, we'll turn these areas flat. Sort out the tenon, do some final trimming on the outside, and then sand. Excellent. Right, I'm going to start sanding. I'll let you watch the start, but then I'll bring you back when it's all done. I'm completely over the moon with the way that went. The wood is just absolutely faultless, apart from the obvious faults, but they're all completely natural. There's no tear out, nothing. Just smooth. Right, finish. Right, I've got a shellac sealer, which I'm going to paint on. Mainly I'm painting as opposed to rubbing, because I'll only be able to get in all the little bits that we have in this natural bowl. So oh, that's looking nice. I do love cherry. Okay, I'm going to rub off the excess and we'll let this sit for a little while before we move on. Okay, so a good while to sit. For a finish, I'm just going to use a very, very natural wax, which is just beeswax and linseed oil, which I've made up. If you want to know how to make it, if you could look back on my videos, there's one where I'm making oak shot glasses, and the full instructions are in that video. But it's a food-safe, waterproof finish. It can really help to bring out the natural luster in wood. It's not a high polished shine, so it's not overbearing in any way. Right, I'm going to buff this in, and then we'll turn it around. That's the basic part of getting the inside all nice and even. Now I am going to go back in with the CA glue and just look at these areas, make sure that they're all nice and stable. Right, I'll let that sit for a little while. I may need to come on back into the ones on the side here and re-apply a bit more to those, but we'll see in a few minutes. Okay, as before, we'll give that a few moments to settle into the wood. My stomach's just reminded me it's lunchtime, so I'll quickly turn off the cameras and we'll come back after lunch and finish this off. Okay, I've had my lunch. The CA glue is nicely dry, so we can now just go in with a scraper, clean up the surface and get ready for sanding. Okay, as ever, I'll let you watch the start of the sanding, but then I'll bring you back when it's done. And the inside went just as well as the outside. I start to like this technique. Right, as before, I'm just going to brush on some shellac and we'll let it soak in. Right, I'll wipe off the excess. I'll give that a few minutes to sit in and we'll put on its final polish. Okay, the shellac's had time to sit in there, so now we're going to go back on with the beeswax and linseed oil finish. And give this another. We give this 2 coats and another coat to the outside, buffing them in between. When that's done, I shall turn it round, take off the tenon. And then we'll look at what we've done. Okay, I'll do one more coat and I'll bring you back in a second and we'll take off the tenon. Well, there we go. 24 hours ago, this was hanging off the side of a big piece of wood. We've cut it off, we've part-turned it, we've dried it in the microwave, and then we've finished it off. I don't think we could have given ourselves a more difficult job to have a go at the bowl drying technique using the microwave with it having 2 piths, etc. But it's come out all right. And as for the rest of the piece, well, we also have this guy, and this fella, who have all been tret to a sealing wax on the ends. This is just any kind of wax you can find is absolutely suitable. This was from a candle that my wife was about to throw away, and yep, it smells beautiful. So you can not only can you use wax, you can use all sorts of paint. Anything that seals the grain is suitable. So these will stay somewhere dry for the next few years, or until I want to go through the process of drying with a microwave again. But I'm really looking forward to turning these crotch pieces. The grain is quite amazing. And these are going to be absolutely glorious. I think I'm going to give one to my friend who's runs another YouTube channel. It's called The Hampshire Turner. Named Steve, and he does some great work, and this is right up his street. But apart from that, that's all we have time for this week, as they say. If you did fancy supporting the channel, we have stickers and badges available on our Ko-fi site. The link's in the description below. These are magnets which will stick to anything metallic, obviously, because it's a magnet, and they will post worldwide. So if you do want to support the channel, I'm not saying you have to, but if you do want to, then they are available there, and they're not that expensive. All proceeds will go to more toys that we can play with. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please feel free to like and subscribe and all the usual things. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you.